meeting of the Joplin Schools Board of Education to order. Could I please have a roll call, Pat?
Deborah Gould.
Here.
Sheriff Jermon.
Here.
Derek Vander.
Present.
Brent Jordan.
Present.
Lori Lesser.
Here.
Dr. Debbie Fort.
Present.
Dr. Michael Joseph.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. I want to thank our group again for being present at this meeting. These are strange times, and I appreciate everybody's accommodations, including the school district. We have a nice setup here to have our meeting. With that, I'd ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Do I have a motion to approve our agenda?
So moved.
Thank you, Derek. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Lori. It's been moved and seconded we approve our agenda as presented. There are no amendments, are there, Pat? Thank you. Please vote, starting with Lori.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yes, that's working amazingly well. I'm very impressed. So at any rate, that brings us to our board's president's report, our celebrations. I'm happy to celebrate anytime we can. So I'm going to start with our Joplin Schools Teacher of the Year. Allison Pittman, a 6th grade math teacher at South Middle School, was surprised when she was called to school for a meeting and instead found a small group of administrators and staff gathered to honor her commitment to her profession, students, and the community. Ms. Pittman has taught in the district for 21 years and is dedicated to keeping her students inspired and engaged in math. Congratulations to Allison Pittman, Teacher of the Year. Great job, Allison.
Great job.
Yes, thank you. Support Staff of the Year, Onyeka Eduono, did I mispronounce his name?
Yeah, a little, but I have to see it to say it.
At any rate, he is a building engineer at North Middle School, and he was painting a classroom when he was called to the auditorium and surprised with the announcement that he had been selected as Joplin Schools Support Staff of the Year. That's fantastic. Onyeka, I hope I'm not mispronouncing his name too badly, has been on staff at North Middle School since November. Wow, he's a high flyer, well recognized in a short period of time. Principal Matt Harding noted he cares about the building, students, and staff. He's been amazing. Etuono said his day-to-day job is to ensure that the building is clean for teachers, staff, and students, but what he enjoys most is seeing the youngsters. Thank you for your great job this year, Mr. Etuono. Congratulations on being named Support Staff of the Year as well.
He's a super nice guy, Sheriff.
Doesn't surprise me a bit.
I
Fantastic.
just did a home inspection for him and his family.
Ah, good stuff.
Very nice family. So, yeah, he's very well deserving.
And they're buying a home, dude. That's fantastic. Great news.
Yeah.
Congratulations to them. Science research wins. The Joplin High School Science Research Team members competed in both the MSSU Regional Science Fair and the Missouri Junior Academy of Science. Students presented virtually to a panel of judges that determined awards and placement for both competitions. Individual project and awards follow. Holy moly. All kinds of stuff on here. I'm just going to read what I've been asked to read, but you can see there's a lot of work that was done. Sam Peterson, a JHS senior, his project was residential and commercial zoning and the concentration of toxic heavy metals. The MSSU Science Fair Award was first place. He was the grand prize winner. Very impressive. Missouri Junior Academy of Science, a number one rating state qualifier. Great job, Sam Peterson. All these kids did lots of work. Look at all this work we're seeing.
Yeah.
Katie Gray, a Joplin High School senior. Her project was probiotic dosage, bacterial count, and survival rate in a gastrointestinal tract. She's an MSSU Science Fair Award second place winner and Missouri Junior Academy of Science Award #1 rating state qualifier. Congratulations to Katie Gray. Kaya Panday is a Joplin High School junior. Her project was effects of CBD oil in gastrointestinal cells. She took third place at the MSSU Science Fair and the Missouri Junior Academy of Science rating #1. Great job to Kaya. Kaya, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing her name. I apologize. Angelina Liu is a Joplin High School senior. Her project was concentrations of acetic acid and growth and pectobacterium. But doctor, you might need to help me read this stuff. Golly. Missouri Junior Academy of Science #1 rating state qualifier. Great job by Angelina. Nathan Goswick, he's a Joplin High School junior. His project viewing a character's eyes or mouth and the perception of power in films. Missouri Junior Academy of Science #1 rating. Congratulations to Nathan, great job. Got too many good students, it's going to take all night, golly. Saad Ali, he's a Joplin High School senior. His project was the effects of rising temperatures on algae. He's Missouri Junior Academy of Science #2 rating. Great job, Saad. Congratulations. And then we have the 2020 James Madison Fellow, Andrew Seavey. Social Studies teacher at Joplin High School was selected this year's James Madison Fellow for the state of Missouri. The prestigious fellowships support graduate programs of study that include a concentration on the history and principles of the United States Constitution. The award is intended to recognize promising and distinguished teachers and strengthen their knowledge of the origins and development of American constitutional government. The James Madison Fellowships were founded by an act of Congress in 1986 to honor Madison's legacy and Madisonian principles. Great job, Mr. Seavey. And did I mispronounce his name?
No, you're good.
Okay, somebody tell me if I'm messing things up. I like to try, do a better job. Powerlifting state titles. Garrett Landis looks a lot like I did at his age. This is amazing. Joplin High School students Garrett Landis and Tyler Peck won state championships at last month's powerlifting meet. Congratulations, guys. Great job. Garrett Landis, the Joplin High School senior, won the 165-pound weight class with a three-lift total of 1,165 pounds. His 325-pound bench press tied the state record. He was also state champion with a deadlift of 455 pounds. Tyler Peck, a Joplin High School sophomore, won the 250-pound division with a three-lift total of 1,310 pounds. He recorded the top lifts in the bench press at 325 pounds and 485 pounds on the deadlift. Wow, guys, great job. Makes me hurt just thinking about it. Walking Tacos. Transportation Management appreciated their drivers and aides earlier this month for the great job they've done delivering thousands of meals a week during the district's wellness break. Staff were served a taco lunch in small groups as they finished their routes. It was a fun and well-deserved social distance thank you to our great staff. Sounds like fun and a great idea. Very deserved. We may hear more about that later, I'm not sure. Speaking of champions, 7 Joplin High School students have qualified. This is National State Debate Association. 7 Joplin High School students have qualified for this year's National Speech and Debate Tournament that will be held as an online virtual competition. Congratulations and good luck to everyone. Benjamin Smith and Annalise Voorhees, first place, policy debate, and national qualifiers. I know half that team, great job to both of them. Sam Peterson, another award, another recognition tonight. First place in domestic extent and national qualifier. Great job, Sam. Jeannie Crawford, first place, humorous interpretation and national qualifier. Fantastic. Spencer Breland, second place, original oratory and national qualifier. Julian Garrett won second place on in the program of oral interpretation and national qualifier. Continuing, Cora Wesley, she won first place, the big question debate and national qualifier. Lauren Smith, third place, Lincoln Douglas debate and national alternate. And Rosalind Jordan, third place, foreign extempt and national alternate. Wow, great job, guys. Fantastic. Really just very proud, and I'm going to clap for you. So that brings us to our superintendent's data report, Dr. Moss.
Okay, and you will see that Dr. Gilbreth is on our screen, and he is going to give a presentation which will include information about second semester grades, promotion, diploma eligibility, and so forth for our high school, because I know that's been a big piece of information that we needed to share. So Steve, take it away.
All right. Okay.
And I think Eric has your PowerPoint as well.
I've got
Oh,
it. I
okay.
think I've got it here.
Okay, very good.
All right, give me a second to get started.
There it is.
We could take the grid view off, I think, and get that off.
Okay, do you guys see that?
I do.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, the first couple of things that, just please stop me at any time if you have questions.
Is that better?
The first couple of things we did is we began to develop our academic plan. All of our transition teachers, which transitions, as you well know, that's the teachers that have a group of students, 18 to 23, 24 kids, where they meet during the day and do team building activities. They do a plethora of activities with these kids. It's sort of like a homeroom, and they loop with those kids all 4 years. So the teachers called all of their transition kids, first of all, to check on their well-being once school was canceled, and to determine, as all teachers did district-wide, about the internet access. And we found out what students we were going to need to make hard copies for. So then after that, teachers opened up, teachers keep all of their assignments in Canvas, and so they opened up their third quarter Canvas for students to go back and to catch up on anything that would have been deficient or missing. In other words, so basically what happened was, once we would have gotten back from spring break, that was effectively the end of third quarter. Fourth quarter would have began just after that when we got back. So grades effectively at that point were frozen for the most part, but students had the opportunity to improve their grades, and their grades wouldn't go down. I will say, we did push out new information to students, just for the simple fact that that stuff didn't count against kids, but just for the simple fact that, like, if a student, say for example, if a freshman has Algebra 1 and they wanted to be ready for Algebra 2 next year, that information has been shared out with students. Mr. Harriman and I collected all of the needs that students have for hard copies. We made all those copies, and there were a couple pairs that came in helping with all of the special ed copies and putting those all together and helping us staple all those and getting them together. We had them in the main office ready to go and for parents to pick up. The tech department has been here Monday through Friday from 8 to 4, where they put out the message to kids that if they need help with their laptops, or if they need anything, like to come, they'll go out, pick up the laptop, get the laptop and bring it in, work on it, and then get it back to the students. They increased the Wi-Fi signal that was done at the district level, so that kids, if they needed to, they could come to the parking lot, sit in their car, and use the internet access to complete homework. Now, obviously, that doesn't work for all kids, but there have been a fair number of kids that have taken advantage of that. Parents will drop them off. They'll sit out front on the benches out here, or just around, or just pull up in their car, and you see them doing work, because the tech guys and Mr. Harriman and I will walk out from time to time and thinking they need help with computers or make copies, but they're just working in their car on stuff. So it has been effective for some kids. In terms of meeting with departments, each principal has several departments and that they're yoked with to evaluate. So we've met with all of our departments, bringing them up to date. We do a weekly hangout with all faculty members and faculty and staff at Joplin High School and Franklin Tech, 147 altogether. We've done weekly hangout with every single one of those folks, keeping them in the loop, bringing them up to date of everything we've done so far. We've developed a Google Doc. We've got Google Docs for everything. Anytime teachers are coming to the building, they sign up for the Google Doc. That way the custodians know, and then they text me, I'm here, I've gone this place and this place, and now I'm leaving. And that way I can relay that information to our building engineer, then he can relay that information to the custodians, and then they go around and disinfect and mist all the rooms and disinfect where everybody's been. Mr. Harriman and I record weekly videos, and we share those videos out with parents and students and anybody who has access to, the Canvas or to the email. Special education has taken on a huge task in doing all their IEPs through Google Hangouts, which and we've provided digital signatures with that. Everybody's done a really good job of jumping on and taking care of those. Teachers have done the very best they can to provide accommodations for special ed kids. A lot of that is done through the work that they send home, or touching base with kids through IEPs, or just reaching out to the kids and to the parents and finding out where they need extra help. I'll pause for just a second. Does anybody have any questions about anything I've covered so far? Okay, good. So I titled this Moving Forward Plan. And so I've reached out to project graduation folks and to some of our site council people and different people that we consider our stakeholders in the district, and kind of gotten, pick their brain about different things about moving forward and how we'll finish the year and things that we can do to end the year the best that we can for students. We know that right now we've made a plan at Joplin High School for the last week to send out any new assignments or new work is May the 4th. And then that gives kids 2 weeks to do that, and an additional 2 weeks to continue to work on anything that they may need to be deficient, and especially seniors. There's a whole group of us who have on our daily call list of calling seniors, catching up with seniors, making sure that they're staying on top of things so that they can be successful. Then the last day that we'll accept things will be May the 15th. We'll have grades finalized into that next week and ready to finish up by May 20th. Any questions about that? So plans for next year, we're working fairly, so it's been work on scheduling for next year. However, we're still on track to do that, building the master schedule for next year. I've been meeting with the counselors weekly, and especially right now, the bulk of our work that we've done with the counselors is about graduation, and specifically seniors, to get them across successfully across the graduation stage, so to speak. But we'll continue on that work with building the master schedule. We've been working diligently to get any new hires into the district. We've had a couple people, 3 people who have retired. One person has moved from a science job to a math job. So we have a few spots to fill, but so far it's been minimal. I suspect that here and there, people as they migrate through things with their spouses moving or whatever, there'll be some movement a little later on. I hope not much. Like I said, we are on track for to have schedules in place by the end of this school year. That schedules for next year. Where right now we're planning to have summer school as is, hoping to have some form, we're hoping to have live summer school. And so we've got a contingency plan for live summer school and then also for virtual and planning for that kind of thing. Kids catching up with anything, academic or credit recovery, anything that they may be deficient on or behind in. That's also, we're having a digital citizen class that students can take. Incoming freshmen will be able to take health class online, and then of course juniors and seniors will still be able to take personal finance, and then any credit recovery that they would need. We're hoping right now though that really that we can do that this time that we've had off, the credit recovery, and students have really taken advantage of that, so that our credit recovery is minimal. So plans for 2020 seniors, obviously we've got several plans. There's Plan A, Plan B, and Plan C. That's for those are for live graduation, everything from a live graduation to a virtual graduation. So we have several plans in place. Trust me, I get 3 or 4 plans a day from different people or from different entities or parents or students with ideas. I put out a senior survey asking their thoughts on how late are they would they be willing to come back for a live graduation, that kind of thing. Collecting as much information from folks as we can. Working with companies here in town to provide some celebrations for seniors. There's a group right now, there's 2 groups actually. I think actually there are 3 groups who are working with signs for seniors. There is a group of Keller Williams, a lady from Keller Williams has provided signs for Webb City and Carl Junction kids, for Joplin High School kids, and that they're going to be there. They've got all of that in place. They're pushing that out. There's another group that from Newton's Jeweler who is working with several people here in town to work on another set of signs for students. And so with that, there are several things that I've met with several people that were wanting to do, any kind of celebration that we can for our 2020 seniors. Today we did our cap and gown pickup, which it was super well organized. It went over very well. Most of the cap and gowns were picked up. I think we have like maybe 40 or so not yet picked up, and several people have called and said that they would need an alternate pickup, and we'll provide that at a later date. And so anyway, that went very well. Jostin's worked with us, helped us out with that. We're working on right now to do a celebration day on May 17th. We want to celebrate that very day because we know that seniors we know that with phase 1, that there will not be enough days out of if the governor lifts the shelter-in-place ban effectively at May 3rd. If that is lifted, then we know that with phase 1, there are not enough days on the outside of that to do anything on May 17th. So we want to have something super nice for the kids that day, because I know that thinking through this and having talked to several seniors, I can't imagine seniors sitting at home on May 17th saying that, this is the day that I would have graduated and there's nothing going on. So we're looking at some kind of putting together a virtual graduation for those kids and working with our SROs and the police department to work out some kind of a celebration day for that day. So anyhow, we've got several things in place there. I'm sure you guys have questions about that graduation piece. But like I said, we're working on many things with, several things with that. So with that, does anybody have any questions?
Steve, I don't, but I sure do appreciate all the information that you provided us tonight. I can tell you that I'm one of the people who supplied an idea or two, and I just know he's being bombarded, and that our entire administration is trying to figure out a way to acknowledge the accomplishments of these kids, this class of 2020. And so I wish them the best of luck. And if there's anything that I can do or hopefully our board can do to help, I hope that you'll reach out to us to ask our assistance or whatever we can do. It's truly strange times and an opportunity for us all to work together in new ways to do great things for these kids.
And I just want to applaud the videos, Steve, that you and Mr. Harriman, your receptionist, has been putting together. And they don't know that the COC conference schools voted Kirk Harriman the most attractive receptionist in the COC conference.
That's correct.
But
Best
you've,
looking receptionist in the.
I think you froze up. But you guys are doing an amazing job, and a lot of what you reflected early in your presentation would be the same at our middle schools and our elementary schools as well. You know, when we talk about third quarter and grade enhancement, and everyone needs to be applauded for that work. And I think it's important, like Sheriff was highlighting, whatever we do for our kids, and our seniors in particular, we need them to know that we're proud of them and that we believe in their future. And so that has come through well in all your communications, Steve, and we appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been weird times, crazy times, but everybody's been very supportive, and I mean everybody, parents and everybody. I really, there are a lot of ideas out there being bombarded by ideas, but it's a good thing. I mean, there's you can't get enough good information or good ideas that because the truth of the matter is, I mean, if everybody goes back in their own mind and take yourself back, for me it'd be a little over 40 years that I graduated from high school. I know if there was nothing, and I know how special that is, and honestly, here's the thing that I keep going back to. I tell everybody every single day that there's no doubt in this world that Joplin High School is the greatest high school in the universe. There's no doubt about that. We have had an incredible year this year. I could talk for 30 minutes about the accolades and the things that we've accomplished, the kids have accomplished, the teachers have accomplished this year. There's no end to the greatness that Joplin High School has done and the greatness that it is. So I appreciate everybody's support. I only want to do, and I know all of our principals here every day. I mean, it truly is. It truly is. We're here for kids, and we want the very, very best that we can for our kids because they deserve it, and they're the best. So please reach out to me if you have any questions. I know Dr. Moss can, if you guys don't have my cell phone, I know Dr. Moss can share that with you, and please, anything you need, don't hesitate to swing by, or the best looking receptionist in the COC and myself are here every day. So, yeah. All right. Good work. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve.
You bet, Dr. G. You're welcome. You guys take care.
You as well.
Okay, the next thing on our data report, Dr. Linkford, you get to follow that with health and dental plan updates.
Well, I would just like to say we get to, Dr. Gilbert mentioned this has been a very unusual year. And when we talk about such things as our health plan and our financial statements, really there's more to it than those numbers. It's really about, in our health plan, it's the people who are working with our students. And with our financial statement, it's about the resources that are being expended for the purpose of educating our kids, because that is why we're here. And I believe this thing that we've gone through, while it's been very challenging to us in many ways, will give us an opportunity to really come back and appreciate how important these human interactions are, and such things as high school graduations, missing the opportunities for competitions at the state level in the spring as far as the fine arts and athletics and what have you. And I think that if we handle it as was evidenced this evening by Dr. Gilbreth and the work that they're doing with the passion, they're doing it. It really gives us the opportunity to come back, and when we come back together, it will be a time of celebration for the opportunity to be back together. So I just was sitting there really impressed with the spirit that was shown, and it's not just the spirit of the high school, throughout the district that we're seeing that. People working, as he said, for our students. When we talk about the financial statements, you all get them. We continue to monitor it closely. This year we've had a little bit higher claims than what we've had in the last year. One thing that we've noticed that we'll be, that I checked with Becky about, and she's going to talk to Jamie, is it seems like our pharmaceuticals costs this year have been very high in relationship to the overall medical plan. But having said that, we continue to maintain a positive fund balance. The committee will be meeting later, and we'll be talking and coming back with recommendations toward the next year. But overall, we are still stable as far as the health plan that Joplin Schools has put together. And we believe the plan that we went with is now well into the second year, which will end September 30th. That's worked out well for the district. And the role that the advisor that the board has hired to help us through that is paid benefits, I believe, big time. So I would answer any questions about the health plan if you have.
Thank you, Dr. Langford. Does anybody have any questions of Dr. Langford concerning the health and dental plan update?
And financial statements.
Again, we always look at the one page, which is backed up by multiple pages, but if we take a look, the only thing I would point out, you might notice that the county revenue this year exceeds last year, and we made budget adjustments last year in June, and so that's how we looked at 19. And it really had to do with railroad and utility. And the county doesn't do the assessment. It just simply passes to us the money that's calculated at the state level. And so last year there was a drop, and this year we've had that drop restored back. So if you notice there's a 20% increase, well, there was some gain, but it really, a lot of that 20% is the fact that last year for some reason it went down, and it's recalculated every year. So that is a change. If you notice in the incidental fund, and went back and took a look at that, we have spent more money. We spent more money because we've been buying some more instructional supplies than what we bought, or learning materials, I should say, in the past. So it's all tracking about what we had thought. And then if you look at the capital projects fund, of course, the expenditure is much greater because we paid off the lease purchase with Bank of America. So all in all, the financial statement as it ended March 31st, the district still is in a sound financial condition. So.
Thank you, Dr. Langford. Does anybody have any questions of Dr. Langford concerning the financial statements? Pat, I know that we had somebody who inquired about a public comment, but they don't appear to be here. Thank you. So that takes us to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Nominated.
Thank you, Derek. Is there a second?
Second.
I think that was Lori or Deborah. I'm not sure who that was.
I think it is 8.
Deborah. Thank you, Deborah. It's been moved and seconded that we approve our consent agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Please vote.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That brings us to our regular agenda and our accounts payable, which swings us back to Dr. Langford.
Again, you've been provided an entire list of all the payables that we'll be approving. And the things that we notice are very well much within the budget. These are not reflected in the statement. They will be next month. And we continue to monitor the financial situation of the district very, very closely. We're scrutinizing now the expenditures, since this is an unusual time, and trying to retain as much as we can and not spend in this year's budget, because operationally we're not doing one quarter of the school year. So obviously that would be down. But the accounts payable that we're recommending tonight, if you go back and compare it to the prior year, it's very comparable with the prior year, and it's very comparable with what we had planned.
Thank you, Dr. Langford. Does anybody have any questions of Dr. Langford concerning our accounts payable? I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Derek. Is there a second? Or was that Mike? I'm
That
sorry.
was Derek.
That was Derek.
Okay, Derek. Mike, I'm sure, did you want to second that?
Yes, sir. Second.
Thank you, Doctor. It's been moved and seconded that we approve our accounts payable. Is there any discussion? Please vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. That brings us to our policy update for first reading. Dr. Moss.
Yes, we have one policy before you, JHCD. It's administration of medications to students, and it was revised to align with our district policies, but also to address administration of medications that are derived from CBD and not administering medications that are not regulated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. There's a lot of conflicting law right now around some of these, but they have not been federally approved, so we are following that in our policies.
Thank you, Dr. Moss. Does anybody have any questions of Dr. Moss concerning this policy reading?
I would add to that we had a student health advisory committee with people from Freeman and Mercy and the health department who reviewed this policy as well, and besides the policy committee, and that was what everyone agreed to.
Thank you, Sandra. I would entertain a motion to approve this policy first reading.
So moved.
Thank you, Derek.
I'll second.
Thank you, Brent. It's been moved and seconded that we approve this policy update for first reading. Policy JHCD. Please vote.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you all. That brings us to plus deltas. I'll try to embarrass some people a little bit, if you don't mind. When the pandemic began, I received a text from a good friend who made inquiries of our school district concerning some supplies. They were trying to build masks, some face shields, to protect our first responders to the COVID-19 pandemic. And I received extremely fast responses from our administrators and the principal at our high school. And the result of that was a nice news story for a small local business that was doing good. And I don't think that anything was mentioned about the school district, nor do I think the school district cares or was seeking any sort of publication for their modest contribution to the deal. But I want everybody to know, nice people.
Thank you.
So, cool stuff. Anybody else?
Well, and to piggyback on that, our respiratory therapy program had donated quite a bit to the hospitals and loaned their invasive and non-invasive respirators. And, you know, there's been a lot of things happen that I would say is reflected in items on our agenda. But if anything good out of this, I think it's highlighted the crucial role that our schools do play and the partnerships that we have had with our city and our chamber and the updates that we give at City Hall. 11 o'clock during the day, and just the way that everybody's reaching out and working together. And it's a spirit of cooperation and wanting to do what's right for our community and our kids.
I absolutely want everybody to have a visible idea of what I think happened. I mean, I had a response within 5 or 10 minutes, and I picture Dr. Gilbreth. I had communications with Dr. Moss, Dr. Saketa, and Dr. Gilbreth. I didn't know where these items may be, and Dr. Gilbreth, I see him sprinting through an empty hallway at the high school looking for face shields. I mean, it's like a clear plastic thing that you could put on these face shields that you might see, and it's humbling. Good stuff.
And I'd like to add, thankful, obviously, I know Sarah and everybody is, to our instructional staff, working with kids every day, what Steve had talked about, and some of the programs we have that kind of blend in perfect with being able to contact students and work with them every day academically. But all of our operations departments, each week we give the board, I've been trying to give week 3, week 4, week 5 of COVID, and all our departments are doing an excellent job. Jim Hounchel's working on a grant right now to try to help us get visitor management system in the schools, the elementary schools, to help take a little bit of burden off of our cap outlay budget for next year. Eric and his staff has done a wonderful job of brainstorming different ways to take care of all the needs of our students long term.
I just heard about the Wi-Fi increase,
Right.
great thinking.
Yeah, and Eric's the one who started, who got Sarah and I in a meeting immediately this week to start talking about next step, finishing out the year, then next steps as we move forward. So I appreciate that. Rick has done an outstanding job. His staff, the cafeteria staff's been wonderful. They have, he just told us that they had already made enough meals since this started to take care of the whole month of January when all of our students are at school. So basically, they have produced the same number of meals since then that they do in the month of January.
I was eavesdropping, Dr. Saketa, and I heard 35,000 meals per week. Is that 35,000 meals per week? I want everybody to digest that for a moment.
Yeah.
Dr. Saketa, I didn't mean to take any of your
No,
thunder.
that's all
Keep
right,
going.
but it's a great way to magnify that effort. And then, of course, Dave's facilities folks have been using Mike's folks from transportation, as well as Mike's bus drivers and aides have been helping, as well as some of the classroom aides have been helping around the district with the meals. So everybody's pitching in. They know that flexibility is important at this time. And I think it kind of goes back to the same way that we addressed things, several years ago, 9 years ago. So just got to do what you got to do to get things done and do it right.
Well, and I'd like to add to that is the childcare piece.
Yes.
At Irving Elementary, we are offering childcare for our health workers and our first responders, and we have had a consistent small group every day. And we've had paras step up and volunteer. We've had all of our elementary principals have signed up for days to be on site to watch that. Sandra shows up there every morning to provide that consistency, and she's just going above and beyond. It's something that no one asked her to do or that she has to do, but she's there. And that spirit is strong.
Thank you, Dr. Moss. Thank you, everyone. I would entertain any deltas if anybody dares.
I would just like to throw
Yes, Doctor.
one other thing out. And, we brag about all the staff, which is good, but the unpaid volunteers that dedicate themselves to the Board of Education, I would just tell you that we appreciate the support that we have from the board members. And, you're not here because you're drawing a salary. You don't run for office because you're going to enhance your careers, but it's to serve the community and the most important asset of the community students. So I would like to commend the board for the feeling of support that we have from you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
With that, I would be willing to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Yes. Are you making fun of me?
No, I was not making fun of you. I just, instead of so moved, I figured I'd do something a little bit different, throw you off just a tiny bit.
Thanks, Derek. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Ford. It's been, I'm not sure who that was.
Seconded and third.
All righty. It's been moved and seconded that we approve our adjournment. Please vote.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we acted in great unanimity tonight. Thank you all very much. Have a great evening.
Have a great evening, everyone.
Good night.
Bye. Bye.
I was only 2 minutes out.
He did that.